How we doing, guys? Welcome to this week's Friday Waffle, and once again I'm actually recording it a day early. The reason being is my wife is working late, so I thought I'd take advantage and get it done when I've got kind of peace and quiet. So yeah, I trust you've all had a decent enough week. I can't really start this video without obviously talking about what's been happening in the news. I.e. the bombings in Paris. I don't know, what can you say about it? It's just terribly, terribly sad what's going on at the moment, and I've got to say I do worry about where this is all going to end, because whatever your beliefs are, it's one of these things where you're just in it's a catch-22, a vicious circle. You know, ISIS do these horrific bombings, killing lots of innocent people, and so the West go in and drop bombs, obviously to try and take out ISIS, but the problem being is you're also taking out a lot of innocent people as well. So it's a no-win. I don't know what the solution is. Part of me thinks, can we not all try and sit round a table and talk about this? Because whatever, I'm absolutely dead against what's been going on with ISIS. I really am. You know, nobody, no human being could condone what's happened. But ultimately these people are doing it because they think what they are doing is correct. They're recruiting all these young people in their 20s, and they're willing to give their life. So what are they being told that's going to make somebody want to do that? You know, I don't know, I'm probably sounding all hippie and, talking utter nonsense, but I don't honestly think that just continually hammering Syria with bombs is the answer. The problem that we've got is this terrorist organisation. They're not known people. They don't wear, during the war, dare I say, your enemy was known because you wore uniforms, you had, you could spot your enemy during the first couple of world wars. Now we're fighting against people. It could be me, it could be anybody. There's absolutely nothing to stop me going in committing an atrocity like that, and that is the problem we've got. But yeah, I'm not going to talk any longer about it, because I'm very much a non-political type person, but as a human being, like everybody else, it's upsetting to see just what's happened, what's happening. It's getting worse and worse and worse. I don't know what the answer is, but I just wish they could come to some sort of agreement and stop it, because I do genuinely worry about the future, what kind of future my daughter's going to have when I'm no longer here. Dare I say, the world that we live in now is a much, much darker place than it was when I was growing up. So yeah, the other news which I was very, very, very sad to hear was the very sudden passing of Jonah Lomu, who was a New Zealand rugby player. Now, I can't say I'm a massive rugby fan. I'm not really, I do my running and that. I'm not a football fan, I'm not really a rugby fan, but I do enjoy watching sport when it's getting played at the highest level. And dare I say, being a Scot, who can forget that try that Jonah Lomu scored against England? I can't remember when it was, 96 or something, where he basically just absolutely steamrollered across countless English players. Saying that, I was I was watching a few videos, and the ironic thing was I was actually watching Jonah Lomu videos on YouTube the day before he died, and one of them in particular, it was New Zealand versus Scotland. And I think Jonah Lomu scored 3 tries in about 5 minutes, and it was just ridiculous. The Scottish team simply could not stop this guy. Yeah, like rugby or loathe rugby, whatever, you can't help but admire what that guy did. You know, every now and again in sport, somebody comes along and just absolutely shakes the sport to its core. You know, they dominate it so much, they really make, they raise the level of what you've ever seen before. I mean, you know, you could say, I don't know, you could say Lionel Messi, Pele did it in football, Mike Tyson did it with boxing, dare I say. You know, nobody could stop him for a long time, he was just unbeatable. There's, I mean, what else, who else have we got? Phil Taylor at darts. People take their sport to the next level, and Jonah Lumu came along, and the other guys, the opposition, just simply didn't know what to do with the guy. He was, apparently he was 6 foot, is it 6'3" or 6'5", 19 stone, and he can run 100, or he did, he could run 100 metres in, was it 10.8 seconds. So he was a bit of a freak of nature as far as, yeah, I meant to say, Usain Bolt sprinting. You know, he's a perfect example. But yeah, Jonah Lumu, you know, physically shouldn't be able to run the speed that he did, but he could, and that's what made him, excuse me, the rugby player that he was. Phenomenal rugby player. Obviously people got used to him and learned how to tackle him. I mean, you're always taught at school when you played rugby, doesn't matter how big they are, as long as you get them around the legs, they can't run. But yeah, it took him a long time to figure out how to tackle him. But what was even more incredible was he was diagnosed in, I don't know when it was, the mid-90s, with this kidney disease, a very rare kidney disease, and they reckon that he was only about ever 80% of what he could have been. So if that was him being 80%, could you imagine what he would have been like 100% fit? Just phenomenal. But yeah, like I says, I was watching videos on YouTube of him the other night there, and then it was the following morning, I was driving to work, and I heard on the radio that he had passed away, 40 years old. And it struck a chord with me. It just makes you think, it makes you realise how fragile life is, or can be. You know, there's a guy who, to my mind, he was like what every man would want to look like. He was big, he was muscular, he was just, you know, this phenomenal specimen of a person, supreme athlete, and there you are, he's gone. He was only 40, and it makes me appreciate all the more. I'm 48, so yeah, even whatever happens to me now, I've had 8 years more than that guy, and he's left a young family, which is very sad. But yeah, sorry for kickstarting this video off with two kind of depressing stories, but you know what, it's part of life, and you know, we just have to, as much as what's happened in Paris has been terrible, there's still so many good things that are going on in the world right now, and you know, it's easy to kind of get over, to become swamped with negative things, and yeah, what's happened is terrible, it's very sad, but again, there's still, you can't always look back and look at the bad things. You've got to look at the good things, and believe you me, there's a lot of good things that happen in the world. In fact, well, not to, this is probably nonsense, but tonight, you might think I'm stupid here, but tonight about 5 o'clock, in fact it was 4:30, I was still technically working, the door goes, and my daughter was upstairs, and it was a guy, never seen him before, with one leg. This isn't a joke by the way, a guy, one leg, on crutches, and his car was parked outside, and what he told me was he'd ran out of petrol, and he didn't have any, his phone had ran out of battery, and as he was talking to me, he was showing me his phone, and he asked me if I could give him a lift to his pal's house so he could get some money. Now, a lot of people would probably say, oh look, sorry, I can't, you know, because unfortunately the world that we live in now, society, there's so many untrustworthy people kicking about. There probably has always been, but it just seems to be sort of more widely reported. But me being me, if I've got plenty of faults, but I don't see this as a fault. I see it as one of my good sides, or one of my good traits is I'm very trusting in people. And so when this guy came to my door and he asked me for a lift, it was literally 5 minutes away. So I said, yeah, no problem, and I gave him a lift. And as I was driving him, he was in the back seat because we had parked my car, he couldn't get in the front. And he was in the back seat and he was talking away to me, and it kind of crossed my mind thinking, this guy could be anybody. This guy could be deliberately taking me away from the house, setting me up. So of course, as we got to where he was going, he says, oh, can you turn in here? Can you turn right? Can you take the second left? Blah, blah, blah. And we were going further and further into the street. And a wee bit of me was thinking, what have I done here? Have I been stupid? Have I put myself at risk? But as it turns out, we got to this house and the guy got out and he said to me, oh, the house is in darkness, I don't think my mate's in. Would you mind waiting? And I said, yeah, no problem. And he got out of the car and he made his way to the front door. Then a minute later, he shouted on me. He said, yeah, that's fine, mate, my pal's in the house. And that was it. And I was gone. And I got back to the house and I was thinking, was that stupid what I did? Maybe it is, I don't know. If it had a bad outcome, then you would have probably said you were stupid doing that, Alan. But maybe I was born from a different time, from the way I was brought up in the 70s. You were brought up to respect people. You're brought up, I suppose, to trust people. I was always taught to be honest, and I always expect other people will do the same to me. Now I know that's not always the case, so I didn't. Helping somebody else out to me was something that it was just what I would do. It might have come round to bit my arse or far worse, but as it turns out, the guy he was genuinely looking for a lift, and later on I noticed a couple of guys turned up and they're away in the car, sort of thing. So yeah, I don't know. But like I was saying, yeah, there's a lot of sad things that have happened in these last few weeks. Not even just in the last few weeks, probably the last year with ISIS, all the things that have been going on. There's been a lot of nasty things. But there's still a lot of good things, guys, in the world, thankfully. So I'm going to pause that a wee second. Okay, right, I'm literally just thinking on my feet here, or thinking on my arse because I'm sitting down. I've not got anything written down to talk about. Was it last weekend? I think it was last weekend. I was watching a film all about Tetris. How interesting can a Tetris film be? It's basically a guy has, apparently Tetris is the most played video game of all ever. It's the most popular video game ever, probably because it's been converted. So I'm just going to take my boot off and scratch my foot. It's probably been converted to virtually every single platform you could ever imagine. I mean, I can't think of any console platform that hasn't had Tetris. Well, I suppose something like the PS4 hasn't got it, but you know what I mean. And yeah, this guy was wanting to try and find, what he was saying was obviously Twin Galaxies, which is an organisation which record high scores on video games. There wasn't a high score or world record for Tetris. So this guy put the feelers out and he got, he managed to basically track down something like the top 10 Tetris players in the world. I think they were all from America, to be fair enough. But anyway, so he organised this Tetris competition, and what was interesting, there was, I'm saying 10, I think there was maybe about 6 or 7, I think it was. Out of these 6 or 7, I mean, there was 2 girls who were in this, and yeah, Tetris is a very, very simple game, and I think that's why it's such a popular game, because it's the easiest game in the world to understand, it's the easiest game to play, but it's so difficult, and you know, you need lightning skill and reflexes, and obviously you need to have a good sort of mind as well to actually play it properly. Oh, excuse me. And yeah, anyway, the version that they use for this is the NES. Oh, excuse me, I've got got juice here, it's giving me windy pops. Yeah, they use the NES version, which I've never actually played. The one that I've always played is the Game Boy one. But to see these guys playing this game at such a high level is incredible. I mean, anybody that's played Tetris, you'll know that as well as the sort of piece that's actually coming down the screen, you get a wee, it's not a preview, it tells you, there's a wee window at the bottom right, and it shows you what the next piece is. And apparently the good players, while they're positioning the piece that's coming down the screen, they're already looking to see where they're going to put the next piece. So they're always like one piece ahead, whereas when I play it, I'm just concentrating on the piece that's coming down the screen, and then when the next piece comes down, I'll worry about where that piece is going to go. But yeah, to see these guys playing this game is just incredible. There is a perfect game. 999,999 points. That's obviously the maximum. You have the maximum, well, not, you don't have the maximum number of lines, but you have, I think something like 290 odd is about the world record for the number of lines that you've actually completed. But it goes up to, well, I don't know how many levels it's got, but after, is it 10 lines? Yeah, it'll be 10 lines, I think it is. After 10 lines, it jumps up a level, and it gets quicker. And apparently, level 19, is that the... Yeah, the experts, you can basically start, I think if you hold the select button and press the level button on the NES, you can start on level 19, which to anybody like myself is just absolutely unplayable. But these guys start at level 19 just to get used to the speed. And apparently it goes so fast after level 29 that they reckon level 30 is physically impossible, because excuse me, got the tickly tongue. Oh, I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, the pieces come down so quick that you physically don't have time to kind of move them left to right. You just don't have enough time, they're going too quick. But there was one guy who used to be, his name's Thor, I can't remember that's his real name by the way. He was he was like the champion back in the early 90s, and they managed to track him down. Apparently this guy became a bit of a sort of celebrity after he was promoting stuff, but they managed to track him down, and he actually claimed that he could get up to level 30, whereas everybody else reckoned that that wasn't possible. So he came along to this tournament, and I think he came third. He actually didn't do that well. People were expecting him to win. But the funny thing is, this guy, he was a boy obviously back in 1992, and now he's a grown man, and it's quite strange seeing this grown man playing a video game, you know. But then there again, people look at me and probably thinks, look at that old man playing video games as well. But yeah, he didn't do that well in the tournament, but then at the end of it, it then said that he then sent a video, was it a week later I think it was, he recorded himself playing Tetris, and he actually got to level 30. So he actually proved that it was possible. But yeah, it's amazing when you see somebody, it doesn't even matter, I mean, I was talking about Jonah Lumu, you know, taking the level of rugby up a notch. And it's even true in video games. You know, you can play a game and you think it's quite a simple game, or you think it's challenging, whatever it is, but then you see people who are at the very very best there is, and it's incredible just the skill, you know, required to actually do that. Yeah, and to see these guys playing this game at the speed they're playing it, it's just mental. I can't remember what the name of the film was. I can't remember. Just Google it. Tetris World Champions. It's a film that came out, I don't know, about 5 years ago. But yeah, it's definitely worth watching. So yeah, I've been playing. After watching that film, I've been playing a bit of Tetris. Been playing a wee bit. I used to be fairly good at it. And the funny thing was, my ex, she hated video games with an absolute passion, but she loved Tetris, and she was actually better at it than me. Apparently it is one of the sort of few games that it seems to appeal to girls. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I mean, you know, I'm not going to be say, oh, it's only guys that like killing people, because there's plenty girl gamers who enjoy these games as well. But yeah, Tetris seems to be a game that just spans all ages, all types, you know. But yeah, it's a brilliant game, Tetris. I've been playing it on the Game Boy, but I might need to actually try and start playing it in the NES, because that is apparently the version. If you ever want to get good at Tetris, it's going to be the NES version that you play. So that's that. So yeah, been playing a fair bit of Tetris. We had our Edinburgh Retro PC Club thing this week. Yesterday, in fact, it was Wednesday. One of the guys suggested we made it a handheld night only, i.e. just handheld consoles. So that's what we did. So there would be about 7 of us, I think it is. That's about how many turn up each week, each month I should say. So we all took along all these different consoles, and it was good fun. It's good fun seeing all the different things. I mean, I think I probably had the most out of everybody. I've certainly been building up my wee kind of Game Boy collection. So yeah, that was good fun. So I was at that last night. What else? Fallout 4. As you probably, if you watched my Friday Waffle last week, I was gibbering about Fallout 4, sort of basically saying, you know, I'm never going to play it. You know, I don't want to play a game that's going to take 100 hours of my life. You know, I've got better things to do with my time than play, you know, 100 hours in one game. And that still technically ties in. That still is how I feel. But, however, after that, on, what day was it? Was it Sunday? I can't remember what day it was. It might have been Sunday, or it might have been Monday. I can't remember exactly. I decided to, I realised that I actually had Fallout 3 on the 360. So I dug it out and installed it. You know, you can install the Xbox games. I installed it, and I played it. I've played it for about, I don't know, maybe 3 hours, maybe slightly more actually over this week. And yeah, it's actually pretty good. Never thought I would say that, but the thing is, it's not because I wouldn't enjoy these games. It's got nothing to do with that. I do appreciate that these games are really, really good. It's the fact that to really get the best out of them, you've got to sink in a lot of time. And like I said, I'm not prepared to just play one game all that time. But I really did enjoy playing Fallout 3. I say enjoy playing, I do want to go back to it. I mean, I might have a wee shot later on tonight. Whether I play it for any length of time, I don't know. But you know what, I mean, I think I paid a fiver for it, so I thought I'll give that a go first, but I'm certainly not going to go out and rush out and buy Fallout 4. Talking about big games, I think today is Star Wars Battlefront. Is it Battlefront 3, Battlefront 4? I don't know what it is. Star Wars Battlefront anyway, for the PS4 and Xbox, I think it is, and PC. It came out today. I did play a demo of it, and I've got to say I was very, very impressed. But from what I can see, I think it's basically like not Call, what am I talking about? It's basically like Call of Duty. It's a Battlefront. Is Call of Duty and Battlefront the same game? I can't remember. Anyway, it's basically the same. I think it is Call of Duty Battlefront. No, Call of Duty yeah, Battlefront, the one, the army one, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's basically the same as a Call of Duty game online, but instead of soldiers, it's stormtroopers and things like that. So again, I know, as much as I liked playing the demo, I knew that, or I know that if I bought it, I would probably end up, I would play it for a short time, probably get my arse absolutely kicked, and then I would end up just, it would sit up on the shelf with the other games that I've got. So yeah, I won't be getting that either. Possibly when it comes down to £5 on Hub and on Steam, I might get it, but it's another game that, again, I'm not really, it's not really my thing. So anyway, just going to pause a wee tick, guys. Okay, I'm a member of a Facebook page called Retro for Sale, and it's addictive as hell. It really is. Trying not to buy stuff. It's a brilliant site if you want to buy classic games, consoles, computers, whatever. It's brilliant, but the problem is it's very costly, as I know to my cost. I've bought quite a few systems on that website, but excuse me, there was a guy selling some Commodore 64 games. Now, before I show you these, I sold a lot of my C64 games. In fact, I sold virtually them all bar a few, because I use the SD thing for playing games. I'm not, I don't really collect games per se, you know. All I'm interested in is actually playing them, and obviously being able to load them from a cartridge is a lot easier than pissing about with tapes. But this guy was selling some, and what I've started doing is picking up games, not just any game, picking up my real favourite games, why I love, you know, like the feature that I do every now and again, games that are really special to me, that I've got good memories. And the first one, it's not a particularly good game. It was very cheap, but again, it brings back a lot of memories just holding this thing, and that is a Chiller by Mastertronic. It was the first kind of, this actually came out pretty much just after Thriller by Michael Jackson was released, and we somehow thought that it was going to be the same as that. I mean, Thriller, the video, even now it still stands up as a good video. Alright, it's got the cheesy Michael Jackson in it, but it's amazing special effects. What's the name of the guy that did American Werewolf in London? Can't remember. Anyway, he did the special effects for it, and yeah, when this came out, we thought, oh, it's going to look just like that. Well, sadly, it was absolutely bugger all like it, but yeah, it's not a particularly good game, but it's a game that I've got a lot of happy memories playing. I think I got it. I think my mate bought it for me for my Christmas. And yeah, we're still pals, believe it or not. The next one, I never actually owned this game, but it was one of the first games I actually got from a C64. It was on a compilation tape, and I played it non-stop, and it's called Exterminator by Bubble Bus Software. A real early game, and in fact it's so early here it actually says machine code. Now, all the early games used to boast it was machine code, because I think some games back then, they were actually written in BASIC, and so any game that was genuinely machine code would actually boast that as a feature. Inside the inlay, play, shoot everything that moves and everything that doesn't, except the spider. What? Except the spider? What are you talking about? Why would you not shoot the spider? Follow the instructions on the screen to enter number of players. Extra men are awarded and the game speeds up as you proceed. Extra men. It's not even a, I like how it calls it men. It's actually a gun you control. Don't shoot the spider. I don't think there's a spider. Yeah, there is a spider. Ah! I've got it. Yeah, you can kill the spider. In Centipede, which this is obviously based on, you can kill the spider. But in this particular game, the spider just kind of walks across and you can't actually kill him. Yeah, got it now. So yeah, Exterminator Bubble Bus. That'll be a game that'll be featuring in my Why I Love. Played that all the time, love it to bits. This one here I actually featured, I made a video yesterday I think it was, and it is this Daley Thompson's Decathlon. I actually only got this yesterday. Again, absolutely loved this to bits. It was the nearest thing to track and field. I mean, I loved track and field. Unfortunately, we didn't ever get track and field in the C64. Well, you did if you lived in America. So this was the next best thing. Absolutely brilliant game. As I mentioned before, it wasn't, although it was nice graphically, the effort you put in to waggling your joystick didn't always reflect the action on the screen. So sometimes you could be shaking your joystick like it was you're going out of fashion, and yet you were like in second place, but then you'd maybe win. So it didn't always, you know, it wasn't accurately reflecting on screen how quick you were actually shaking your joystick. But still a good game. It was surpassed when Epix brought out their summer games, but then they were in joystick wagglers. But to me, the best game that took the mantle of this is the next game, and that is Decathlon by Activision. Absolutely ace game this. It was written by the mighty David Crane, who wrote, what did he write? One Boy and His Blob, I think it was. He also wrote Pitfall 1 and 2, Little Computer People, Ghostbusters, yep, you'll know who I'm talking about now. Yeah, Decathlon, this is excellent. It wasn't, the animation was stunning, but very, very simple. It didn't have the same kind of flair and fancy presentation of this, but it accurately represented how much effort you were putting in. The number of joysticks that I actually broke playing this game, I mean, it was quite funny because me and my mates, we would literally be down on our hands and knees giving it laldy with the joystick. My mum would walk in and like, we'd be sweating, the sweat would be pissing off us, and I'm sure she wondered what was going on, but honestly we were just playing Activision Decathlon. It's one of these brutal games. Try the 400 metres. That is about a minute and a half of pure torture. So yeah, that one. Next one, it's it's a game that is as famous for the guy that programmed it as the actual game itself. He was probably the only programmer to put his face on games, and it is Football Manager, Kevin Toms, the beard. I've actually seen a video of him getting interviewed fairly recently, and by God, he looks completely different. He obviously doesn't have a beard now. He's got older like all of us, but yeah, Football Manager, loved this game to bits. Me and my mates, or me and one mate, Don, I can always remember he came across to my house one night and we sat up until probably about 5 o'clock in the morning playing this game. I think what we did was a cheat mode. I think if you pick a player or something like that, or somebody wants to buy a player and you turn down a bid, whatever it is, he gets injured. There was some kind of cheat mode you could do with a wee kind of bug, and you could end up boosting your energy. So we did that, and we ended up, I think we ended up winning it, although it was on the easiest level. But love that game to bits, Football Manager. Stunning game. Simple, but really effective. This game I don't even remember playing, but it's iconic artwork, and it is Laser Zone, and that's by Lamasoft. Jeff Minter, don't recall playing Laser Zone. It's a dark time for the Terran Federation. The evil empire of Arata and the devilish war fiends of Zyax are attacking all Terran outposts, including yours. Your task is to coordinate the defensive fire of the two powerful plasma cannons, each capable of destroying your enemies or each other. Be warned, you won't find it easy. Laser Zone is a game which demands your skill and concentration. It includes unique move, tilt and fire control, the two plasma cannons, smart bombs, and an attack wave countdown indicator. Have fun. Excellent. But this is just an iconic looking game. I mean, I can remember seeing the advert for it. Don't remember the actual game itself, but I don't buy these games to play. I buy them because of the artwork, and just it brings back a lot of memories. This next game, this was written by a classic C64 coder, a guy called Tony Crowder, or Anthony Crowder as he liked to call himself. Written for Alligator, and it was Loco, which is basically you control this train that goes along a track, and you've got to shoot missiles up the way and also shoot kind of bullets out the way to kind of try and keep the track clear. But this is, I mean, Tony went on to write Suicide Express and Black Thunder, which Suicide Express and Black Thunder are almost the same game. Have a look at them. I think actually I did a mashup of Suicide Express. They're both the same game. The background graphics are identical. He changed the music, he changed the sprite, but apart from that they're identical, and both of them are very, very similar to this game. But that's a great game. Fantastic sound as well. And the last one which I got, this is an amazing looking game, and it played really, really well. Got a sticker on it. Oh, there we go. Yep. It's Zaxxon by Synapse Software. Oh, no, sorry, Signsoft. But it was US Gold, so yeah, this was actually... Signsoft was the American company, and US Gold was the company that was set up in Britain to actually import all these games. The Best of America, I think it was, or the Best of US, something like that it was called. But yeah, this is actually the official Zaxxon by Sega, so that's quite unusual to see that. So yeah, that's my haul of C64 games. I'm not going to play them, because I've got them on my SD card, but I just like having them. So yeah, I think that's me finished waffling. I do have a couple of questions by a couple of guys. Ever reliable Mr. Down the Rabbit Hole, Kev. Thank you, Kev. I always appreciate you taking time to ask me questions. Hi Alan, last week you asked us how many new versus old games we still play, and I admit for me it's about 50-50. What I'd like to ask you is, how many games do you go back to? Do you find with so many games to play now that you play a title once and then forget it, or are there games you revisit? Yeah, absolutely, Kev. There are games. I mean, I've got games like Robotron, games that I've told you about multiple times. There's games, I've got favourite games, arcade games, that I do go back, I go back and play every other week, whatever, Rolling Thunder, stuff like that. But I do come across games. I mean, I'm really bad, and again, it's probably reflecting on me talking about Fallout 4. I'm really bad for not ever playing games through to the end. I mean, I can count current consoles. When I say current, I mean even like the PlayStation. When I try and think of like modern day games that I've completed, I've completed Resident Evil 4. I've completed that about 4 or 5 times. What else? I've completed Last of Us. PS4. No, nothing else up there. There's very, very few games I actually complete. I've completed, like, what do you call it? Half-Life, Half-Life 2, games like that, but there are very few games I've actually completed. Considering how many games I've played and actually own, I probably complete less than 1% of them. And because of that, I do go back to them. It might take me a while. I mean, I was playing, what was I playing? When I first got my PS4, I was playing Killzone, what's that called? Shadowfall. Obviously I was playing that for a while, that was the only game I had. And then I went back to it about 2-3 weeks ago, had another crack at it to kind of relearn the controls, and I gave up. But I'll probably go back to it again. But games that I go back to because I really want to play, it tends to be older games. It tends to be arcade games, stuff like Donkey Kong, Robotron, any of these games, classic arcade games, I will always return to. But more modern games, yeah, I do. I mean, what I tend to find is I'll play it. In fact, what I've actually done now is I've actually started. What was I starting to play the other day there? Well, yeah, Fallout 3. I've actually put that on the easiest level because I don't want. I find if I play it on a harder level or even a medium level, I get frustrated to the point that I end up giving up and I don't go back to it. So I've started playing games on easy level, but I will go back to them a certain number of times to try and get past it. But I lose patience very, very quickly. If a game keeps kicking my arse and I just simply can't get past it. I mean, the perfect example of a game that I've just given up on is Bioshock. Is it Infinite? I think it is. I've got to what I believe is the very, very, very last level. You're on this big kind of balloon airship, and you're getting attacked by other airships and various baddies. And I've played it and played it and played it and played it, and the problem is I can get maybe 10 minutes into it, then I die. Then you've got to go all the way back to the start, and you play for another 10 minutes, then you die, and so on. And so I've literally given up with that game. I don't think I'll ever go back to it. Unless I could find a cheat mode or something, I don't think I'd ever go back to it. Which is sad because it's a great game. But yeah, because of my lack of patience and probably lack of gaming skill, I tend to give up very easily. But if I'm playing a game and I get stuck, I'll move on to something else, and then maybe a few months later I'll go back to it. So yeah, I do have certain games that I will return to, but there's other games that I've bought and I just simply don't get on with them, sort of thing, and I may not return to them. But I never consciously, apart from Bioshock Infinite, I never consciously say, right, that's it, I'm not playing this game again. I'll always intend to return, but because I've got so many games, just it's ridiculous how many, when I consider how many ROMs I've got access to, you're talking tens of thousands of games that you can play. So, other than a game like Bioshock Infinite where it's absolutely kicking marks, I'll never consciously say, right, that's me, I'm not going to play it again. I will usually go back to it eventually, but because I've got so many, it can sometimes be, it could be months, it could even be years that it takes me to return to it. So yeah, excuse me. Yep, so thanks for that one, Kevin. I hope that was a kind of sufficient answer. And the second question is by Pure Socks Treble 3. Thank you very much, Squire. Quick question. I think I recall you saying that your dad was pretty good at the old TV quizzes. Was he on 15 to 1 or something? Yeah, he was. My dad, bless him. He was on, there used to be a programme, I think it's still on actually, it was remade again, called 15 to 1, where basically there's 15 contestants and you get asked questions. I mean, they're hard questions. It's not like bloody, I don't know. It's like mastermind kind of type questions. It's very, very hard questions. You get asked questions, and then if you lose, is it 3 lives, you're out. Then you get into the fight, it goes down to 3 people. Then it's like question or nominate, and then eventually 2, then 1. So my dad actually, he won it. Oh, it'd been 1993, something like that. He actually won it. He got this thing for winning it. I used to slag my dad and say, typical, the quiz show that you win is the one quiz show on TV that doesn't give a reward. I mean, if it had been 15 to 1, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I could be sitting here in my big mansion house. But not, my dad picks the quiz show that gives bugger all for winning it. But to be fair, he won that. He then he got invited back because he'd won it. And I think he got to the final of the second episode, and he didn't win it. But yeah, he did. He was in. I mean, I've actually got the YouTube. If you Google Mamemeister 15 to 1, you can actually watch it. And the funny thing is actually, the girl that got to the final, who's in this video, obviously, she actually commented on the video about 6 months ago, saying that she couldn't believe she'd found this video and sort of thank you very much for sharing. So I actually contacted her and just said that glad she liked the video, and I was sorry to tell her that my dad had actually passed away in January of 2013. So yeah, it's bizarre. Through the power of the internet, the person that my dad competed against, was commenting on the video that I put up about 10 years ago, whatever it was. So yeah, he did indeed. 15 to 1, he won that. What else? I wondered whether you had ever considered doing, say, Mastermind, and if so, what would be your chosen subject? I presume it would be retro gaming, system related, seeing as you have an interest. What area do you think you would choose to answer questions on? I think I actually mentioned this. I'm sure I did a community question about 6 months ago, and I think one of the questions was, what would be your specialist subject in Mastermind? Now, any non-British person watching this, Mastermind is a quiz programme. It's 2 rounds of quiz questions, The first round is based on your chosen subject. It can be anything at all. William Shakespeare, World War II, Harry Potter, anything at all, and you'll basically get asked questions. I think you've got 2 minutes on questions about your chosen subject. The second round is general knowledge, and basically the person who has the most questions right wins. So yeah, I did have a community question asking what would be your chosen subject. What subject do I know most about? I don't know very much. I mean, I'm the first to admit I've probably got about the worst knowledge on geography. I mean, my geography is shamefully bad. I'm talking capital cities. I don't know capital cities of places. I don't know where one country is to another. I'm terrible, absolutely terrible at geography. And history as well. I'm pretty crap at history. So yeah, stick in, kids. Don't do what I do. Stick in, and you want to be clever. But yeah, what was I talking about? So I don't have any real general knowledge as such, but the thing that I probably have most knowledge or a good memory for is, I would say, video games between, I don't know, video games between 1984 and 1988, something like that I would say. Yeah, especially 8-bit games. You know, the early 8-bit games, they've just kind of stuck in my head, obviously because I was a huge fan. It was something I was interested in, but I seem to have a good memory when it comes to kind of, you know, anytime you get these Facebook quizzes trying to identify video games, I tend to do quite well in them. So that would probably be my specialist knowledge. But like I said, it's not because I'm particularly good at it, it's more to do with the fact that I'm so crap at everything else. So it'd probably be video games between 84 and 88, I would probably say. So yeah, that's it. So anyway guys, listen, it's probably quite a short waffle. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching it. I do apologise for kind of making up on as I'm just going along basically. Not done any real preparation. You probably notice I have been putting out a lot less videos. I've kind of been putting out 3 a week. I've got my waffle. I try and do some kind of feature, whatever it is, and like a mashup. So I'm currently putting out 3 videos a week. I'm probably going to stick to that. I mean, sorry guys, that was the battery running out there. What was I talking about there? Yeah, when I first started doing this channel, I was trying to put out a video every day, thinking somehow that people would want to see that, but I don't think that's the case. There's obviously a lot more video channels, retro gaming channels than just my own. And I think it's easy to kind of get carried away and just pump out video after video after video. So I'm not going to be, I'll never return to the putting out 1 video a day. That just won't happen. I simply don't have the time, and I don't think it's adding anything to the channel with doing that. You know, I've got to say, the subscriber number has been rising quite steadily over the last couple of weeks, which is I'm delighted about. Thank you very much. Anybody that's just joined the channel, thanks for dropping by, and if you've subscribed, thank you very, very much. Hopefully I'm going to put out stuff that you're going to want to see, and you'll remain a subscriber. Because it's always nice to be doing these knowing that somebody's actually watching it. So yeah, it does almost seem like less is more. You know, if you're constantly battering out video after video, and there are still some people who seem to put out videos daily, and don't get me wrong, they're probably doing better than I am, so who am I to say what's right or what's wrong, but I certainly won't ever return to the daily video. That's just not going to happen. 3 would probably be about the minimum. I like to try and, I don't want to be one of these channels that you're going to get 1 video maybe every week, because I think what can happen, I certainly know when I'm, you know, if I'm watching a channel, if I've subscribed to a channel and you go into it and there's no new videos, then you go into it maybe 3 or 4 days later and there's still no videos, then you start to think to yourself, this person is obviously not really, they're not putting much, not so much they're not putting any effort in, they've obviously got other things on their plate, so it's not a priority in their life if they're only putting out one video a week or one video a fortnight. I would never want to drop as low as that. At the very minimum, I would want to say 2-3 videos a week is a bare minimum. I wouldn't want to go down to 1 or even 2. I think 3 is a nice number. You get one on a Monday, one on a Wednesday, and one on a Friday. You'll always get the Friday Waffle, hopefully, although not necessarily on a Friday, because I have done Friday Waffles on Saturday, and this is a Friday Waffle on a Thursday, but by the time you're watching this it will be Friday, so don't worry too much. So yeah, I have cut down on my videos that I'm doing because I don't have the time, and I think when you start punting out daily videos it can become a bit of a chore, and the day it becomes a chore and a bind, then that's the day to kind of rethink your strategy. So yep, you're going to be getting 2-3 videos from me every week, so that is it. But like I says guys, welcome to anyone that's just joined the channel. Thank you very much to everybody who's stuck with me over these last, I can't even remember how long I've been doing this. Is it 2.5 years, I think it is? Something like that. I was watching Steve Benway. I still really enjoy Steve Benway. I mean, sadly he doesn't put that many videos, but what was really interesting, it was only in 2007 Steve had 500 subscribers, and in 2015 he's now up to 13,000, so it just shows you, I mean, I think it's a fact that the more subs you have, the more you seem to get. What kind of interests me is what actually drives people to come to your channel. I mean, obviously if somebody Googles, I don't know, if somebody types in Daley Thompson's Decathlon, chances are you might see a video that I've put out with Daley Thompson's Decathlon. Nobody is going to Google Mamemeister because nobody knows what Mamemeister is. So obviously people are doing searches on a specific thing, and will hopefully see your video. But I'm guessing the way YouTube works is people that are watching it, that's obviously in their history, that appears in their history, and then somebody that's subscribed to that channel will see that that person has watched this particular video, and then they'll think, oh, let's see what this is about. But it always interests me. I'm always fascinated to know what brings traffic into a channel. Is it just through people Googling a particular subject, whatever it might be, don't know. But anyway, listen, I'm waffling. I've already tried to draw this video to a close and I'm talking shite, so I'm going to stop right now guys. By the time you watch this it will be almost the weekend, so I hope you have an ace weekend. Just be careful if you're going out and about, because I think the weather's to be pretty gruesome. But anyway, that's it guys. As usual, thank you very, very much for watching.
Thanks for watching my Mamemeister channel. Please feel free to like, comment or subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter.